Hey everyone, it's been a while. Today I'm back with another video review, and this time is the Penon Serial. Disclaimer, I bought this with my own money. I was not paid to do this review. Everything I said in this video will be my subjective opinion only. A brief introduction to the Penon Serial. This is one of the few 3 dynamic drivers in the market. It uses one 10mm driver for bass, one 8mm driver for mids, and one 6mm driver for the treble. Its retail price is around $299 on the Penon website. So here is the box that the serial comes with. Let me open it up. Of course, I've taken the IM out for a listening session to make this review. Here is the case that it comes with. Inside the case is a leather pouch, 3 pairs of wide bore tips, 3 pair of normal bore tips, like slightly narrow bore, a cleaning tool, and a cable clip. Let's put these accessories aside for a bit. It also comes with an 8-core cable and the IM itself. As you can see here, the IM itself the shell of the IM is made from a medical grade resin, and the faceplate is made from what's called a stabilized wood panel. As you can see, it's very colorful. The cable itself is an 8-core cable, 4 oxygen-free copper cores, and 4 silver-plated coppers. Like, nothing fancy. It's light and supple. In this video, I will be using the stock cable and the stock green tips to make this review. Like, I have a bunch of aftermarket tips, but I find the stock green tips to be the one I found to be the best. Fit and comfort wise, the housing of the serial is on a bigger side compared to average IMs. Although it doesn't have any rough edges, my ear was starting to hurt at around like 5 or 6 hour mark. Isolation is also on the average side. Power and sensitivity wise, I found the serial to be quite power hungry. Like, volume wise, I have to put my iBasso DC04 Pro at level 50 at high gain to reach around 75 dB of sound pressure level. Power and sensitivity wise, I found the serial to be quite power hungry. Like, volume wise, I have to put my iBasso DC04 Pro to level 50 at around high gain to reach 75 dB of sound pressure level. That being said, although the DC04 Pro can provide enough listening level, I think the serial does scale with better sources. I have 3 different sources right here. First is the DC04 Pro. Second is the topping NS7 with 7Hz 71 feet into it. And third is this stack right here. It is quite big compared to the other 2. It's a DIY stack from China. It costs around like $400. I will put a link to it down below. This combo right here has made me from somewhat liking the serial to loving it. It has improved so many things of the serial, like the bass texture, the bass extension, and its technicalities. My impression regarding the serial will be made using this combo right here. Now let's get to the sound impression of the serial. For what it's worth, I've burned this IM for around 200 hours, both by listening to music and using pink noise. The serial has what I would call a bassy neutral or a bassy dark tonality, where the bass will take the spotlight in this IM, while the mids and treble are on a more neutral side. About the bass, it's good. It's not really purely for bass head since it's only around 10 decibel of bass, but it is for bass lover nonetheless. With sufficient amping power, the bass on these are very satisfying. The texture of it are very wonderful. It has this weirdly but still good layering, reverbing effects to the bass itself that is a bit hard to describe. Sort of like a vintage speaker, if I can say it like that. Those pop and rock songs from the 80s are very satisfying coming from the Serial. Kick drums, bass guitar, you name it. The bass on the Serial are definitely on a slower side. I would not recommend this IEM for those fast-paced music genre like death metal, EDM songs, or fast rock. I can't even feel the driver struggling to keep up on some of those songs. One thing I have to say though, without sufficient amping, for example with my iPod DC04 Pro, in and of itself, the DC04 Pro is a very good dongle. However, when pairing this with the Serial, the bass just feel very limp or not as satisfied. The bass dynamics are just gone compared to when using this stack right here. Let's talk about the mid-range. The mids also sounds good. It's lush, sweet, full-bodied, yet very non-aggressive and not shouty. The pinna gain is not too high, so the vocals are not right at your face. It's more on a neutral side. Vocal and instruments sound smooth overall with good texture to it. Piano, violin, cello, saxophone all sounds very natural. That being said, the bass does bleed into the mid-range, which sometimes makes the vocal overly warm or a bit husky. The somewhat slower bass does add a bit too much note weight into the instruments. As for the treble is what I would call a weak point of this IM. Like I said, it is on a more neutral side. You can even call it dark. There is definitely a scoop in the 6 to 7K region, which makes this IM free from the sibilance and fatiguing. But it does come at a cost. Those percussion instruments like cymbals or hi-hats are present, but they sound a little bit blunted without that usual shimmering feelings. The Serial definitely lacks that airiness or the treble extension that some of you are more familiar with on some tribreds or planar IEMs. The treble takes more of a backstage role to support the bass and mids. Resolution also takes a hit due to a somewhat softened treble. It's not very sharp sounding. If you're looking for a more critical or analytical listening session, where you would want to pick out those micro details, the Serial is definitely not for you. It's more for those that wanted to lay back and enjoy music in a more relaxing fashion. Technicalities wise, timbre is one of the Serial's strong points. It sounds very natural. Instruments are very close to real life sounding with a hint of warmth and lushness to it. Soundstage wise is wide and deep, but with a decent amount of height. Although it's still felt in your head at times, the overall stage does feel very holographic. The spatial cues or stereo swirling effects are there. The layering and instrument separation are only above average. It's not very pinpoint accurate. Vocal and instruments positioning are not very distinct. Overall, the Serial is more for you to immerse in the music rather than to decipher it. Now, let's compare the Penon Serial to another IEM from the Penon sister company, the ISN Neo 5. The Neo 5 has what I would call a L-shaped tuning. The mid-range of the Neo 5 are still apparent, yet this IM definitely leans towards an L-shaped tonality. When I'm A/Bing the Neo 5 and the Serial, the first thing that comes to mind is the Neo 5 is a bit more sibilant compared to the Serial, like just a bit. The Neo 5 also sounds sharper, crisper, and sparklier. The cymbal strikes and hi-hat sounding just feels more satisfied due to the additional micro nuances. It is still not at treble head levels, as both of these are still lean on a relaxed side of treble. The mids are somewhat the same. I think it still has that signature Penon mids, meaning it leans toward a more lush, full-bodied, non-aggressive, and non-shouty type of mid-range. The bass region is where I perceive the most differences. It is more sub-bass over mid-bass on the Neo 5. I'm personally more biased towards L-shaped tuning. I feel like the Neo 5 has a better texture, more satisfying type of bass. It's also a tad tighter compared to the Serials. Timbre-wise, I think the Serial is better. It just sounds more natural compared to the Neo 5. Stage-wise is decent, is wider but less depth compared to the Serial. Both of these are still fairly intimate and inside your head type of stage. Instrument separation and layering is more or less on par with each other. Between these two IMs, I think the Neo 5 has a more jack of all trades type of tuning. That being said, I think I still prefer the Penon Serial more due to its natural timbre and its layering and reverbing effect of the bass department. I think the Serial has a more unique presentation compared to many other IMs in the market. So let's wrap things up. Who is the Penon Serial for? This IM is for those that want a warm, lush with natural timbre to use for those relaxing sessions where you just want to listen to music, not analyze it. This IM is definitely not for treble heads or for those who want to chase those micro details, micro nuances in a song, or those who want a more neutral tuning IMs, because this IM is definitely colored. So yeah, thanks for watching this review and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.